I was going to ask you some questions about those, not to use the word paradox, but paradoxical moments in religion. Your guys are both from Connecticut or live in Connecticut now. I'm from Connecticut myself. Was in Connecticut when Sandy Hook happened.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys also there?
Yep.
And I was curious, we're kind of going to be all over the place today. It's hard probably to keep a completely linear path, especially running off the 3 hours of sleep that I had on this flight over here today.
In a middle-class economy seat.
And we'll get into that. I want to ask you some questions about hell. I want to ask you some questions about hell later, because I believe I was there just a couple hours ago as I was getting battered by bags in the hallway. In those paradoxical moments, like Sandy Hook, or the slave ownership that you talked about, what do you think God is trying to teach us in moments like that, and how, for non-believers who ask, like, how are moments like that even possible in a world where God exists?
Great question, Stuart. You know, you got to start with, I have no idea. Any pastor, preacher, spiritual leader who says, oh, here's the answer, hey, you just got to run from them as fast as possible. So you got to start with, I don't know. Secondly, you got to start with, it's a sin issue. Do you know what I mean? That's got to be up front. If Genesis chapter 3 talks about a great fall and great breakdown, that cracked the door wide open for any type of entropy to occur. Thirdly, I'd go with, well, if there is no God, then there is no ultimate moral obligation. There is no type of immaterial out there. It's just all material, like we're sitting on a couch right now. And the immaterial information that we're speaking, well, that's a type of spirituality involved. So what is the alternative is my question. Why is it so wrong if there is no God? Because everybody brings up this word evil with Sandy Hook. Well, that's a religious term. If you don't believe in God, what is evil? That term doesn't even make any sense. You have to have God to have evil, because it ushers in moral obligation. This is really right. This is really wrong. Next, I would say that we have a suffering servant. You know, I think you're a Christian, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we worship the only God who claims to suffer with us, and historically suffered himself in the worst way imaginable, physically and spiritually, on that cross. And then lastly, you know, what are you going to turn to? We're at the beds of those who are suffering all the time. We just had a funeral last night we performed. And if you're an atheist and you go in there, it's just like, tough luck, you know, life ends, just accept it, naturalize it. It's totally normal.
That's scary.
Yeah. Versus, look, there's eternity out there and we all want that. Now the question is there evidence for it?
Perhaps there is. Have you been ever challenged, because I know you guys go on college campuses a lot, and just open invite to just talk about the Bible. Have you ever been challenged with some sort of scientific explanation about what happens after you die? I have a theory, but I'd like that answer.